Welcome to the Advocast Toolbox, where I give you practical tips to help you strengthen your advocacy. And today we are going to talk about two powerful elements: story and data. Policymakers need both. Stories connect to the heart, data connects to the head. I know that's an oversimplification, but when you put them together, that's when your message really lands. So, why should we pair a story with data? When you've got your story alone, it's inspiring, but some individuals might dismiss it as just one example. The opposite can happen when you have just data. It can be informative, but it often feels cold or overwhelming. And it's easy for individuals to forget that when you say 4.3 million, those aren't data points, those are people. So when you connect those two things together, lawmakers can see the human impact behind the numbers. So let's look at an example. Just a story, you might have, I didn't have digital skills, so I couldn't apply for better jobs. Again, somebody could just say, oh, that's just one example. That's you. If you just share data, well, 43 million adults in the US struggle with digital literacy. They might say, okay, 43 million, that's a lot. What can we even do about this? Let's pair it together, right? I didn't have digital skills, so I couldn't apply for better jobs, and I'm not alone. Nearly 43 million adults in the US struggle with digital literacy. You can see when we combine it, that one person becomes the face of a much larger issue. So let's look at the formula of how to bridge this story with the data. So first you start with your story. And it goes really well to have a before, during, and after. So the before is the challenge. The during is that program experience in adult education. And the after is the outcome. And it's important to note that after doesn't mean that this individual is done with adult education, but it just means that they have seen an impact, they've had a success. Then you bridge to the data. You can use phrases like, my story is one of many, or the data shows, or also, and I'm not alone, right? Thousands of learners in our state face the same challenge. Of course, you want to make sure with the data that it is factual, but these are some really helpful bridges to be able to transition from your story to the data in a way that feels natural. And then lastly, you end with the impact, right? You want to end on that high note. So why does it matter for the policymaker? Maybe it's community growth, the workforce pipeline, stronger families, whatever it might be. Let's look at an example with a digital literacy focus. Here's the story. Before I took digital literacy classes, I couldn't even set up my child's online school account. Now I'm using computers every day at my job. Right, so you saw the before, during, and after. Now the data. Millions of parents across the country face a similar barrier, lacking the digital skills needed to support their families. And you heard that bridge there too, right? Millions of other parents have the same problem. And now the impact. That's why continued investment in adult education and digital skills programs is so critical. Let's listen to that entire thing straight through now without my commentary in between. Before I took digital skills classes, I couldn't even set up my child's online school account. Now, I'm using computers every day at my job. Millions of parents across the country face the same barrier, lacking the digital skills needed to support their families. That's why continued investment in adult education and digital skills programs is so critical. Let me tell you from experience, if you said that to a legislator, they would be wowed. So successful advocacy, that story, that data, that impact, it doesn't need to be long. It just needs to be structured in such a way that it really gets your point across. So I would encourage you to practice this. So you can do this pretty easily. Your first step is to write your story. Let's start with 3 to 5 sentences. Step 2, find one piece of data. It can be national, state, or program level. And then 3, link them with a bridge phrase. So your challenge is this week, tell your story out loud, add a data point. All of this should still be under 2 minutes. And why this is so helpful is because you never know when you're going to meet somebody who has um, kind of the voice to make a change, right? And yes, that person's you. You have the voice to make a change. But we're talking about reaching out to legislators. You never know when you might see them. So it's helpful to have something nice and quick, something you could say when you're in line at the grocery store, something you could say in an elevator, something that you could say quickly as you are giving somebody a handshake. So again, my call to action for you this week, share your story and one data point. Do this with someone you know, maybe even post it on social media, because the more that we practice tying stories to data, the stronger our advocacy becomes. So thanks for joining this Advocast Toolbox. And remember, stories open hearts, data changes minds, and together they drive action. See you next time.